Well, good morning, everybody. We're going to be starting something different. Well, not really different, but we're going to be doing, instead of just doing basic problems that deals with slope-intercept form, we're going to be using word problems to graph and to answer the question and create equations and things like that. So it's going to be a little bit different. I know word problems are challenging for a lot of you, but I think it will help you a lot in answering these problems. And word problems are not going away. You're going to have them in 9th grade, you're going to have them in 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. You're going to have them on state assessments. So you're going to have to understand and be able to do word problems throughout your entire educational career. So this will help you greatly. So I'm going to be starting off with this one. You're going to see this posted in Google Classroom underneath the assignment. I'm probably going to also do it as a just words came right out of my mouth. I can't remember. As a screenshot, sorry. Totally forgot what that was. So yes, you can look at this video, or you can look at the example problems on the screenshot that I post under this assignment. So here we go. So as always, I'm using the annotate button up here. It's a little pen, and I'm going to be working with the pen as well. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you can see it, and of course you can choose the colors up there as well. All right, so it says create an equation first, then you're going to write it, and then you're going to read the graph, how much will he have. So this is going to be where your answer goes here. All right, so first we're going to read the problem for number 1, create the equation, then write it. So label the graph, and then you're going to read it, you're going to answer it here. And we have 2 problems to do right now as examples for all of you. All right, so here we go. So it says Georgie joins a gym. She pays $25 to sign up, and then an additional extra $15 each month. All right, so we don't know how many months she signs up. So that is going to be your slope, because you're adding $15 each time. So that's going to be your slope. So I'm going to put that in, I'll put that in blue for now. So our equation is going to start off with 15, and we don't know how many times, how many months she's going to do it for. She's going to do it for 12, she's going to do it for 6, she's going to do it for 3. So we're going to read, that's the unknown for this, so you're going to use X for that. So I'm going to change this to black. I'm going to put X. Okay. Now what we do know also as well is that she signed up at $25 sign-up fee. So she's going to pay that right off the bat. So we're just going to add that to, so that's going to be where she starts off at. So we're going to use red for that, and that's just going to be 25. So there you go. It's as simple as that. 15x plus 25. That's your equation that you get out of this, okay? The reason why is because she pays a startup, okay? So that's going to be where you're going to add it. That's never going to change. That is, right off the bat. So that's where our B comes in for y-intercept. Okay, I'm going to write on here as well, y equals mx plus b, because you're going to have to use that equation. So I'll put that up at the top here. So you're always going to put the equation in y equals m x. Oh, let me erase that real quick. Yeah, so always do the undo button if you mess up. Okay. So we know our B in this case is 25, because that's the initial fee that she pays. She's never going to pay that again. And then the M in this case is our 15, which is our slope. M always equals slope. And that is going to change because we don't know how many months she's going to be doing this for. So then we're going to write it. So use your graph to find a solution, label it, and write your answer as a sentence. Now you don't have to really necessarily do it as a sentence. You can, but it's going to be a little tricky doing that. So if you don't want to do that, but at least just graph the solution here. So you use a graph to find the solution. So we're going to we always start with our B, which is 25. So now in this case, you see that this graph is not labeled. It doesn't have any numbers on it. But what I would suggest doing is, since we're dealing with large numbers, you're not going to start with 1. I would suggest starting with maybe 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and going from there, and then doing the same here. I'm not going to write them. I mean, you can if you want, but you don't have to write them. If it helps you, though, you definitely can. Like this, I'll make 5, 10, 15 next. Okay. I'm not going to continue because it's going to end up making it too, oops, sorry. Like I said, it should be 5 to start with. 5. The next one is 10. You can always make the intervals whatever you want, depending on what the numbers are in your answers or in your word problem. So I only did up to 15. We know the next one's going to be 20. I'm counting by 5s because it looks like that's what we're dealing with here. So I'm going to go switch back to my red and graph my y-intercept. All right, so my y-intercept is 25. So we're going to go up on the y-axis. This is always y. Remember? I'll actually label that y so that way we remember. And then this is I'll do that in green, x-axis. Okay, so we're always dealing with y. Switch back. So then we have to go to 25. So we're going to count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So 25 is right here. So I'm going to plot my y-intercept. And now we have 15. So obviously 15 is a whole number. It's not a fraction. So you can always put that over 1. So I'm going to do that. First, I'm going to put this in black because we know it's rise over run. When you have slope, it is always rise over run. So 15 is my rise and 1 is my run. So I'm going to go back to blue and do my rise. So it's 15. So we can count. We can even count 5, 10, 15. I'm going to make my line. And then my run is 1. Okay. So I'm going to put that there. And then I'm going to make my new point. I'll make my new point purple. How about that? That's my favorite color. So purple is my dot there for my next line. Now I can do it again, but unfortunately from what it seems like here with this graph, we're not going to be able to make it any bigger than this because we're going to run out of room. So I'm not going to do this any bigger. I'm just going to make my points a little bit better for you all to see. And then I'm going to label my rise, which I said was 15. Oh, let me change my pen. It's too big. Which I said was 15. So I'm going to label that. I labeled it 15 jumps. And then my run was 1. So I'm going to label that there. So now we're just going to connect our line to connect our points to make our line. So this would be, of course, it's going to go up further. I'm just going to create that and then put this down here. Okay, so that would be your line for this. The slope is 15 over 1, so we went up 15 and then over 1, and that was that. And then our 25 started at this point here for the red, and our new point was the purple. So this is your graph. You don't have to write an answer in a sentence. I'm not going to make you do that. So now we're going to just read the graph, and it says, how much will Georgie pay if she used the gym for 5 months? All right, so this is where it gets a little tricky. So we said that X was the unknown, right? So X, we don't know how many, that's going to be our months. So if we have our 15, right? And we know that we have X, right? 15X. We are going to substitute X for, they told us, for 5 months. So we're going to multiply it by 5. So now if we do that, I'm going to just use my calculator on my phone real quick. You can use your calculator on your computer, whatever you want to do, just for reasons, because, it'll be a lot easier to do. So it says 75. So 15 times 5 is 75. And then all we're going to do is we're going to add our 25, which she had to pay at startup. So 25 plus 75, I already know what that answer is in my head. So she is going to pay a total of $100 for that. So let me actually change that one. I'm going to change it to a different color so you can just see that that's the answer. So if she's going to pay how much? $100. I did write a little bit big. That's okay. All right, so $100 for that. So you have everything here. You created our equation from using this word problem. We graphed it on the graph, and then we also read the graph, and then it came up with they gave us a question that we had to answer using this graph. So this was it. All right, so our next step is going to be the number 2, which is Edwin has $50 in his bank, so in his account. He starts spending $2.50 each week on snacks at lunch. So very similar to the last one that we did. Of course, we're going to be using y equals mx plus b, and it's going to be in this type of format. Okay, so he starts off with 50. Now in this case though, he starts off with 50 and he's spending this. So my question is, is his bank account going to go higher? Like, is he going to get more money, or is he losing money? Okay, so the answer would be losing because he's spending it. So if he's spending $250 a week, his bank account is going to go down. So this is going to be a -1. It is not going to be positive. It's going to be minus. So we are going to start off our graph. I'm going to choose black again. And we are going to start our equation. So $50 in his bank account. So that's going to be where our -50 comes in. Because we don't know how much he's... Actually, no, let me just do $50 that way. There we go. I don't have to put a dollar sign. We know it's $50 because it says it here. Okay, so he starts off with that, and it's going to be minus the 50. And then he starts spending $250 each week. So we don't have many weeks, so that's our unknown. So that's going to be our x. So we're going to do $2.50. And then we don't know how many weeks, so that's our x. So we are done creating the equation. So our equation would be $2.50 x minus 50. Because we're always going to subtract it because he's not going to gain any money. He's losing the money out of his account. All right, hopefully we understand that spending means that we're taking it out. We're not putting it in. All right, so now we're going to graph it. So now we have our 50 is, from looking at this one, our 50 is the y-intercept. So we're going to use red for that. All right, so that is at 50. So again, you have this graph, but you have to, let's see what we want to number it as. This is 50, so this is kind of high. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. That's not going to work. Let me just label this y here so we know that's the y-axis. And this is the x-axis. All right, let's think about this for a sec here. Y should be, I guess we can do 5s again. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. So we're going to put it's right at the top here. Let me make this a little bigger. Okay, so there's our point, and we're starting at 50. I did it by 5s again, just like we did in our last one. Right, so once we count by 5s, we know that it's going to go up to 50. Like I said, I'm not going to go all the way up. You can label them if you want yourself the entire time. It does not matter. Just so you know that you're counting by 5s. So that's why I'm putting this little reminder down here so we remember that it's going by 5s. All right, so, and then we have, this is going to be a negative slope, obviously, because we're going it down this way. We're not gaining any money, so it won't be going positive. It's going to be a negative. So it says 250. So obviously 250 is not a full 5. So we're going to be going in the middle of each of the numbers. And we know that this is always over 1. So we're going to put it over 1. Now this should be blue and this should be green. But that's okay. We'll do that on the graph itself here. So blue, so you're going to be going down 250. 1. And then, well, actually, no, sorry. You're not going to be going down a full 1 because each one is 5. So you're going to be going down half of 5. That's going to be super tiny, but that's okay. And then over 1. And then we can do it again if we want. Let's plot that point there. It's going to be like in the middle of it. And then we can change it again and do blue. Again, down 1 or down to 250. And then over 1. So we can keep going. I mean, it's not, we can keep going to each point. I'll stop in a little bit because that way, we can plot the points that I create. And then there we go. So let's do one more. All right. So those are the points we created. Again, make this bigger because this is 1 point. This is the third, fourth, and fifth. And then we can draw our line. Let's make that thinner. These are super. It's very hard to draw on this, guys. Okay. And then we could always just make this, obviously. So that would be our line. So again, we don't have to do our sentence, okay? So 250, so we went down a half, because remember, we're going by 5, so half of 5 is 2.5. So we're only doing a half of the box and then going over by 1. So I did it multiple times. I went down half, over by 1, down half, over by 1, down half, over by 1. And if you continue, it's going to keep going down, down, down. All right, so we don't have to write it. We're going to read the graph. So after how many weeks will Edwin run out of money? How is this shown on the graph? All right, so if he runs out of money, obviously all you can do is, so now each of these points equal a week. So this is week 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we do 250 times 4, we're going to get 10. And then 50 minus 10 is going to be 40. Right? So we're still $40 up. So this has to be a high number. So 250, we're just basically going to guess and check. So 250 times 25. Nope, that would be too much. 20. Aha! If you guess and check, what I did is I did a high number. So I knew that this was a matter of 4 weeks. So I did 4 weeks and then I got 10. So 10 minus 50 or 50 minus 10 is 40. So what I did in my brain is I just picked a number. So I knew it wasn't 10 because you deducted that. So what it would be is it would be $2.50 times, and I used 20. And when you get that, 250 times 20, you get 50. And what happens with that is, didn't he start with 50? Yes, he did. So what you would do is you would just subtract 50 and take away 50, and you would get a big fat 0. So he would have to be run out of money in 20 weeks. That's how long it would take him to get to $0. So he has 20 weeks to spend. That's about an average of 5 months, right? Because there's four times 5, 4 weeks in 1 month. 4 times 5 is 20. So yes, he probably would be out of money in 20 weeks. So 20 weeks would be your answer here. All right, and that's just basically using guess and check. You can just keep going up with the number. If you didn't know, you can just go up by 5 each time and do 20 times 15, 20 times, whatever you want to do. All right, so this is your example. This is going to be posted, like I said, in Google Classroom. If you have any questions, it would be really, really, really awesome, though, if you did come on the Google Meet, because this is very difficult to show you, just doing this. I know this is a tutorial video, so it can help you, but at the same time, it's better if you're actually getting instruction from me one-on-one in the Google Meet because, it's more beneficial that way instead of just watching the video. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please let me know about this, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a great day.